Hey everyone, this video I wanted to talk about my coaching service. So normally I haven't been doing coaching, I haven't had time. I've been focusing on more the streaming side, but right now streaming is not really paying the bills. January ad revenue is really bad, and I just want to make a little bit extra money. So I'm looking to maybe get an hour or two of coaching in a day. So it's a time if you've been wanting to get coaching from me. I know I get lots of messages and I've been kind of elusive. Now is the time to do it. I just wanted to go over kind of what my coaching is about, what we work on, and why I think my coaching can help you. So my basic belief when I do coaching is it's not about me telling you what to do. It's about figuring out what things you're missing in your gameplay and giving you an action plan to work on those things. So the reality of Hearthstone is there's so many different spots. So if I in my early days of coaching, I would often teach a student a deck, and we'd get really good at that deck, and even they get top 200 in that deck, and then all of a sudden their deck would get nerfed or the meta would change, and then all of a sudden they were back to square one. Which, to be honest, we all are. But ultimately, my coaching is looking to teach you different values in Hearthstone and get to the spot where you are testing those own values yourself and solving things yourself. And then I, as a coach, also might give the second perspective. If you have a certain compromise, do we go all in here? Do we hold back to play around brawl? I can be like, oh yeah, we should be holding back, or no, it was right to go all in here. They just get top deck the right out. But so what I typically will do with my coaching is I'll have you play some games before the session, and this is an HS replay game. Now I've been using Firestone, but I prefer HS replay. I think I enjoy their replay system a little bit better. But you go through and we'd watch the game, and we say, okay, what happened here, and we would critique it. So we would say, okay, you went gold panner here, and then we might on three we might talk about, all right, do we go seashell here, or do we go metal detector here, stuff like that. And we would go in, and then on some of the really tough turns, we can really go in and analyze deeply, and really I can talk about what are you thinking, and often uh, figure out stuff of like what kind of plans you were. Players get really overwhelmed, and it's the reflection element of Hearthstone is one of the biggest things players don't do. I'm also lazy about it now that I'm a professional streamer. But going in and reflecting, figuring out, okay, what was the right play, and archiving it and getting that, okay, this is what I learned from this game, is very valuable. But I do think that what the advantages of doing it with a coach is, so often players will, when they reflect on their own games, they will over focus on something that isn't that important, that their brain is already paying attention to. They might, maybe they overtrade in a spot, like, oh, I should have gone face. But usually it's not that big a deal, because the fact that they recognize that means it's probably closer than they think. Often the biggest mistakes are things that a high level concept that you're just completely missing. Maybe one of the big things is you have to save coin for turn 4, or to get some play, that you make a mistake 4 turns down the road, and then turn 7 comes and you're in this awkward spot, and really the play mistake you made was 4 turns earlier. And that's something, as a coach, I can help you out a lot to say, because I have sort of the experience to know some of these high level concepts that might take years to kind of figure out organically. So yeah, we go through a game, we go through a few games, we talk about what you're thinking, talk about your plays, and what we talk about also, one of the things that I go is like, what plays are important and what plays are marginal. So I'm a big believer in not hyper agonizing over marginal decisions. If you want to get number 1 legend, you have to, but if you want to get top 100 legend, you don't. To get number 1 legend, you have to get things just really precise and really perfect. But to get top 100, if you do the important things well, that's enough. So if you have I've seen players, they have Scarab Keychain and they have Miracle Salesman in hand, and they're both decent turn one plays, and they just agonize which one should I have done, and often both are good. Where there are other spots where the play you do is costing you the game. Like you'll when I coach, almost always there's one game where the player had the easy win, but they just done one play differently, and they didn't take it, and they didn't even realize it. So that's a lot of what my coaching will go through, just sort of that process, and figuring out what's important and what's not. Where are you repeatedly making big mistakes, and where are maybe some marginal areas to clean up. The better you get, the more marginal things there are. But if you're someone who's never gotten Legend, if you're most people, you'll come in and you'll be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'll be like, I have no idea how you like. You could. I get frustrated because it's like, why did you spend your mana? Like, why did you play minions? Like, what did you do this turn? So ultimately, one of the things I want to do as a coach is not just tell you what to do, but help you develop your own frameworks for evaluating your own plays, so you can think about things yourself. And then if you are, I don't usually do much regular coaching these days because I don't have time. But if I were a regular student, I can be used as the checker upper, where you say, okay, I was close on this. You think I'm doing that, and that can be the validation of, okay, I'm doing this right, or no, I need to still work on this and keep focusing on this. And but having your brain knowing what to focus on and what is not that important. For example, I've noticed that lots of players really often will hyper focus on board positioning, and I think that's a relic from like when Hearthstone in the early years. Like if you're playing a Totem Shaman, having your board in the right spot so you can get Flame Totem stuff was really important. Board positioning is not very important. Once in a while when you're up against Howlhound, you're like, oh, the one matchup where I had to think about my board positioning, but often it's not that important. So it's not that big a deal if you don't focus on it. So that's a lot of what I do. And then often, so in a 2-hour session, which is what I typically do, we'll spend like the first 10 minutes sort of talking about your game and what you're looking for. Then we'll spend an hour and a half looking at replays, and then creating an action plan. And then maybe we'll usually play one game at the end, kind of just to have the fun of putting the stuff that we learned in the session in progress. So anyways, yeah. So doing some coaching, and the beginning of the stream. So you reach me out on Discord. I'm No Hands Gamer on Discord. I'll make sure to do my friend request, but you could also go into No Hands Discord, which is you can find in my Twitch channel. I don't want to just say it out loud because it's too likely that bots find it. But if you go on my Twitch channel, you can find the No Hands Gamers. You could message me there, or you can message me on Twitter. I'll be checking my DMs that from non-mutuals this week. So you could schedule a session, but between the first 3 hours of stream, I'm willing to do one a day. So you schedule a session, so between like 3 and 6 p.m. and we'll go over your game. And so my price is $40 an hour. But if you've been a subscriber, you can get up to, for your a 2-hour session, you can get $5 off for every month up to 4 months for your $20 session. So if you've been subscribed for 4 months plus, you can get a one-time deal for $60 for a 2-hour session. So right now, like I said, I normally don't do coaching. I get lots of messages about coaching, and I just have too much to do. But like I said, I'm looking to make a little extra money because I'm not making much money because it's January and ad revenue is terrible. So now's your time if you've wanted to get a coaching session from me in the past. Between now and the mini set, once the mini set starts, I'm going to stop doing coaching again. But between now and then, it's a great time for having me take a look at your game. So I hope to see some people coaching, and I'll see you guys on the ladder.